Marc Maron is a comedian that had, I don't know, one of the biggest podcasts in the early days of podcasting. He seemed to have something of a rivalry with Joe Rogan. And this ties into everything from Sydney Sweeney, we're back to that, but Marc Maron criticized Joe Rogan kind of early on, took him to task. And in his new special, he kind of goes after the culture shift and he addresses some of it here. Yeah. It's on the WTF's final episode, Comedy and Politics. There's also other videos we'll show as well where he discusses Rogan like specifically. But I'm just gonna let's watch what he's saying. His show is done. I mean, I don't know why he was really doing it. He had a show. I really like this show. He really got comedians to open up. Joe Rogan's episode is really good on WTF. He'd have comedians on. They would talk inside baseball or comedy. It was really insightful. But what I got with every person on the show, he always seemed to be jealous of everyone who he got as a guest. And even to the point of asking them, well, how'd you get that deal? Or how'd you do this? Like almost asking for business advice. Anyways, let's watch this. And then I'm going to show you some other clips. Okay. And I want to get you, Alan, because you're in the comedy space. Mm-hmm. This applies to you. Let's watch.
I'm going to read what I wrote.
Yes.
I hope all the anti-woke comics are happy about pushing this all through. The big question is, when will they shut up about trans people, intellectually challenged people, immigrants, the disabled, and minorities? I mean, they won. The policies they were supporting, whether they knew it or not, are happening. All the language and law that protected the vulnerable and marginalized and gave them a leg up have been destroyed. History is being erased and rewritten to support Christian nationalism. Creativity, tolerance, and the path to equality squashed. I hope it was all worth it so you can say the R word again.
Well, what do you think of that, Alan?
Sour grapes.
What do you think?
Sour grapes.
You think it's sour grapes?
Yeah. First of all, I mean, what the look, don't want to get political here, but I will. What the left like to do is reframe our arguments to fit their criticisms. And that's exactly what he did there. Christian nationalism, when did that become a thing? It's like, this is not a political show, so I don't really want to go way into it, but Christian nationalism, when was the first time you heard that? Probably this year. And so that's the new thing that they're going after. Yeah, no, Marc Maron, he's just a little bitter.
Well, okay, so he's no longer doing the WTF show. Mm-hmm. He has a new comedy special out, so he is on the circuit promoting things.
Yeah,
but
I'm sure that'll be fair and balanced.
Comedy is a big part of the cultural zeitgeist. We've seen things change in advertising. I saw a white couple in an ad. I don't remember the ad. Was when I saw it, I was like, wow. Didn't expect that. But all these things from advertising to Sydney Sweeney to whatnot, they mean something. This is, let me share this. It's just a quick quote from a different podcast. Where he calls out the entire, they call it Rogan sphere. I'll just play the first part, but you need to hear what he says. Because in that statement, he's talking about Rogan, but he doesn't directly say it. Here we go.
But the thing with Joe is I don't know that we have a lot to talk about because of my idea of what he's done to comedy.
Sure.
And I don't think it's great. I think that it's tribalized. And I think that, he's created a sort of army of people that think they know comedy, but they only know a specific thing. And what they think is good is not necessarily good. It may be what they're like.
So it seems that Marc Maron.
So, okay, that's the main thing I wanted to get there. You can look up all these other interviews. I'll just say this. I love different kinds of comedy. I like improv, I like classic. I I like the absurdist comedy. I like, just all kinds. But I think Maron seems bitter that his kind of more thinky, drone on and tell stories. It's not built on punchlines. It's not as popular. It went through a phase. It was very popular. The kind of comedy he does is no longer popular. And Rogan does comedy. That's not all Rogan does. His show is built on his interests. He likes MMA. He likes health and fitness. He likes theories about aliens and UFOs. And his show is, and he talks to his comedian friends, but it's a mishmash. And comedy is, you can break comedy just like music down into different genres, right, Alan?
Mm-hmm.
And the genre of type of comedy that Maron does, which is mainly built around storytelling, is not as popular. And he's basically saying that making jokes, it's now become like jokes about, say, certain communities. He thinks it's hacky. What are your thoughts, Alan?
I mean, we've always made jokes about certain communities. Certain communities make jokes about themselves. Certain communities make jokes about others. But the problem I have with Marc Maron is the attitude of I'm right and you can go to hell. It's there is no difference. If you're in my sphere, you're a good person. If you're not, you're Nazis. And it's just it's not intellectual at all. It has zero empathy for the other side. It's just this belief that you're right or I'm right and you're always wrong. And this has intensified probably over the last 10-15 years. But there used to be a time where political comedians would, you knew the side they were on, you knew the viewpoint they were coming on,
right?
Yet they were able to tell good jokes. George Carlin is a great example of that. Richard Pryor was another example of that. I don't necessarily agree with everything. I definitely don't agree with everything George Carlin has to say, but I do recognize the fact that he was funny, he was clever, and he had something to say. And again, Maron just comes off as angry that his side is no longer popular anymore. And then to say that, to sum it up, I don't think Joe Rogan is the one who influenced all this. All Joe Rogan did, considering that he was a Bernie bro for a very long time, all Joe Rogan did was open up the conversation to both sides, which is where it should have been all along. I don't want to hear right-wing people. I don't want to hear left-wing people. I just want to have a conversation that balances two sides. And Rogan is the epitome of that.
Here's a little bit more from this. We'll just play it a little bit. Here we go. Some more, and we'll comment behind this.
Who's that?
Joe Rogan.
Joseph Rogan?
Yeah, he's out of Texas.
Oh, Texas. Got it.
Yeah.
I got it. Got it.
Yeah. You love Austin, don't you?
He's running half the planet out of Texas.
Yeah.
He's got a tight hold on the enlightened meathead.
Dude, man.
He calls Rogan listeners enlightened meatheads.
Well, I mean, you mentioned before that he's jealous because Rogan has the top podcast in the world, and of course he has to take him down and use very you might as well paint him as a Nazi right wing. And that's what he does.
Look, criticize the ideas, not the audience. Rogan found an audience, and Maron's audience seems to have shrunk to where he's ending his podcast. I think he has a lot of other things going on. He's an actor in movies, and he's in The Bad Guys too, as a voice. But
Maron's disdain.
It's not disdain. It's reasonable criticism.
Reasonable criticism.
Yeah.
When was the last time you spoke with him?
I don't know. That's a good question. I guess it would have been at the store. I never talked to him in Austin. I don't go into the club. I don't really think I'm on his radar. So
something tells me you are.
Oh yeah.
Something tells me you are.
I don't. It's weird that you get lumped into a certain thing, and maybe it's my assumption that his army of healthy fellas.
Is that their title? Army of Healthy Fellas is so good.
You just got to, got to stay in, keep the machine.
The machine's got to be good.
Yeah.
That's a shot at Bert. Go ahead.
What do you think the Austin shelf life is going to be?
Well,
I don't know. I think that it's so effectively tribalized at this point. It really comes down to material. I mean, at what point, it's like whatever they represented in terms of policy. And it's not a stretch. It's like they won. Trans people are frightened. They have no ability to get health care anymore. And they're afraid of being alive and have no freedom left. So that's done. When do you stop with the jokes?
He might be overstating.
Yeah. Yeah. He believes that. And man.
Let's finish this and then we'll talk about it.
And like immigrants, okay, well, they're being ripped away from their homes, and they're all terrified, and okay, so that's done. When do you stop with the joke?
So he's saying it's not funny to joke about that stuff. I don't know if I remember.
When you misrepresent, that's the thing is, if you're going to criticize the other side. Research the other side and make more truthful, nuanced statements about that side, as opposed to going to these tired, hacky, stereotypes. Look, immigrants being ripped from their homes. I mean, my family seems to be doing well. My entire family. My cousins. I have 15 cousins. They all have children. They still have their homes. I don't know where these ICE agents are coming from, ripping them away from their homes. We know what he's talking about, but.
Well, I feel like there is a clear difference. I mean, I know this. Joe Rogan has kids. Marc Maron does not. He doesn't have children. I think there's a clear, we talked to Drinker in DC, and I have a treat at the end of the show. Stay to the end of the show. I have a big treat about that. But I'll tell you this, that there's a difference between the way you look at the world when you have children, because you have skin in the game involving the future of the country, how well we do economically, what the market is like. Will my children be able to afford homes and have a life? And will their children also have a better life than I? And I feel like when you're childless and the age that he is, you're not as invested in that. You're more trying to placate and kind of parrot what are common ideas in this realm in order to stay employed. Let's see.
Let me just say to that. It's not just people with children, but it's people with common sense. Let's take the immigration argument he posed. Common sense knows that there's a difference between immigrants who are here legally and immigrants who are here illegally. And to conflate and to bring those two together just shows that Mark is giving us a disingenuous argument here.
Okay, let's take a look at more of this.
I mean, it's one thing to pick on the vulnerable and the marginalized, but I mean, they're down.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
they're down.
Why do you got to keep hitting them unless you're a hack? Now, there's a question.
So he basically calls Rogan a hack.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe he made some jokes that didn't work. I'm sure Mark did the same. But I think that I see Rogan as kind of well-rounded. He has various interests, which reflect the guests he has on his show. He isn't just inviting other comedians on to pick their brain about helping him advance his own career, which is what Maron has done. Mm-hmm. What Rogan does, he brings on people from tech, people from the world of conspiracy theories, UFOs, whatever.
He brings on Democrats and Republicans. He had on Bernie. He had on Trump. He invited Kamala. I see his show, and I kind of check out on the MMA shows. I like the tech shows. His interests are varied, and he has on comedians. It's the whole runs the gamut. So I really see this as sour grapes and jealousy. Mm-hmm. Let's see if there's anything more to this.
Mark,
he comes in swing.
Yeah.
Another. Let's see. Okay, let's just end it there.
Yeah.
We get it. We get it. So I don't know what your thoughts are, Alan. Final thoughts on this, so we'll go to chat.
Yeah, first, Mark Maron makes me think Bill Maher is a reasonable person. Right?